to the Famous Graves podcast. I'm your host, Mike Knox. I did a video on TikTok. My TikTok is Famous Graves, and it was about a giant cornflake that I found in a cereal box. I've kept this thing with me for probably, I want to say 20 years, I think. I finally did the video about it, and as I was looking for other cornflakes, this one was 2 inches. Normally a cornflake is a little less of the size of a dime. This cornflake was over 2 inches, I think. And I started looking at other people. I Google it, and there's like people that have like 6 to 8 inch cornflakes. I mean, just craziness. So I think my cornflake is about third, probably. It's a third-rate cornflake. Let's put it to you that way. But I've been selling stuff. I know the economy is strong. The greatest economy since the Great Depression. But I've been selling stuff on eBay because I just figured, I look at all these graves and we all end up in the same place. You can't really take anything with you. So, I started looking around. I collect a lot of stuff. I've always collected stuff. I have like a, arcade in my garage. And so I just started to sell some stuff. A lot of stuff that I was selling on eBay was like coin-operated stuff, because I get the idea where I'm like, oh, I want the the strength tester or the kiss machine or the psychic, the one that tells your fortune. And that's all great and everything, and I always have this idea that I'm going to have this party and people are going to love all this coin-operated stuff like gumball machines and stuff like that. And I don't have the party, and then I just realize it's kind of a big pain to have coin-operated because nobody has any coins to put in that stuff anymore. It used to be a big vending business, and not so much anymore. It's kind of hard to even find a soda machine. I used to love the bottle soda machines the best because you could open up you can basically open up the little refrigerator part and actually touch the soda that was locked in there. So I started selling stuff, and I hadn't sold anything in about 15 years on eBay, so everything's changed. When eBay started, it was great because it was just this free form. Everybody was really cool. Now all the psychos have joined, and plus the government's also taxed everything, which used to be free trade, which was great about eBay. So now you got to pay a tax on second item goods. And then you're shipping it. So I didn't realize also, I've never really shipped anything. So stuff that, end up costing me $60 to ship something. And then that would, basically take away my profit for the item. So it became a real pain. But the bigger pain was the actual people buying stuff. Like I had one guy where he bid on some coin-operated machine that I had, and then immediately complained to eBay that he hadn't received his item, and I emailed him and said, well, why didn't you just email me first? You just bought the item. Obviously it can't get there by osmosis. It's nowhere possible for you to send anything within 10 minutes of you buying something. And his response was, that's not my job, that's your job. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, I see how it is now. So dealing with people like that, and then there was another guy that was like, his handle was like Cranky Eric, and I was just thinking, if your name is Cranky, if you put that in your name, you're not a good person. If you need to explain to people that you're cranky, you're not a good person. And that guy, of course, complained. He wanted me to like have double, triple insurance on everything, was telling me where, exactly what I had to do. And it's like, come on, guy. You can read the ratings. I've been doing this a long time. I know how to send an item through the mail. I was a little insulted by Cranky Eric. But anyways, everybody got all their stuff. I never got a negative review. That was another thing that I was always thinking of was, some psycho can just give you a negative review. There's nothing you can do about it. And then another guy, I had these Star Wars glasses from 78, the Burger King ones, which are awesome. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll use these. And I washed them and I put them up in the cupboard there in the kitchen. But then I used one, and it really is it's a glass for a kid. You can't even put your mouth around it as an adult. So I was like, all right, I'll sell these. So for $4, I sold them for, I think I put them on there for $100. The guy offered me $70. I was like, yeah, sure. And I never heard from the guy ever again. So then I had to take down the listing, tell eBay that I don't know where this person is. It took about 3 weeks. And then I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. This is ridiculous. And then, since the economy is so wonderful, you got people that are, I have this really awesome I think it's the 1940s. It's a Fresh Nuts vending machine. And it takes dimes and nickels, and it lights up. And I bought that thing. I think I bought it for I think I bought it for $1,500. So I just wanted $1,500. I just wanted to break even. But now nobody's really buying the way that they were, and the people that are selling all that stuff's sitting there a lot longer because everybody's trying to buy other things like food and gas. So then you're getting very low ball, like $600, and you just can't really see. I might as well keep hanging on to it until stuff turns around again. But again, I don't really have. I love it. I think it's cool, but I don't really have any use for 1940s hot nuts machine. I got a cuckoo clock, and I don't really use that. I got a Mountain Dew sign, which I love, but I can tell time with my iPhone. So there's certain things. And again, I got a whole like little 80. If I had a bigger house, I would have a total 80s room, and so I've got that stuff near book. And I got a lot of books. I've always collected books. I got rid of all. I had about 500 VHS tapes, and I get rid of those. I wish I had kept them, but at the same time, I don't really have any room for them. And that's the main thing about collecting is you just don't have a lot of room for stuff. So you're constantly. It really is like a disease. You're constantly. I just took a drink of water. You're constantly selling stuff and buying stuff, and to me, I guess it's a healthy habit to have, I guess. And so I was reading about. I was also a big Amazon, and I've noticed that Amazon, like, stuff's not selling the way that it was on there either. And you also the delivery is taking forever too, where it used to be. I mean, they were at one point 2 years ago. They had so many trucks that I couldn't even get gas down the street from my house because there were all the trucks there filling up, and you would order something and instantaneously that thing would arrive. And it was great, and I loved it. And now they don't care. The drivers don't care. Nobody cares. Amazon could care less, which is probably why they lost $2 billion the other day, which is just pocket change for them. They don't care. Netflix also lost a bunch of money. What I love about Netflix losing money is Netflix is great because they buy up all this content, right? And that Netflix is wonderful for comedians. And, everybody, I think about 5 different comedians got shows this year, which would have never happened before. So I love Netflix for that. But then you got the news is like, we can't figure out why Netflix is losing so many customers. Yeah, you can, because you used to be able to share your account. My mom used to use my Netflix account, and they canceled all that, along with a million other people, because a million other people didn't want to have to pay for their Netflix account. And I get that, but nobody ever says that. And then the other side is like, that's all the woke shows that the Netflix people are putting on there. Nobody cares if it's a woke show or not. Whatever it is, if it's entertaining, they're going to watch it. I do think that streaming has changed the dynamics of stuff. We're not sitting around, it used to be a big thing. It reminds me of like you sit around watching, listening to the radio, and then it became sitting around watching the TV turn on, because there'd be like one show a day. And then it was, like overjoyed when we got cable. I even remember when we got a microwave, and my whole family sat around and put a cup of water in the microwave for a minute. And that was fascinating. But everything with TV, everybody's binge watching stuff. So nobody's kind of watching stuff together anymore. Like, not even a family, but you would watch, I remember we would be watching Dynasty, and then I could talk to the girls in my class the next day about Dynasty, to the genius of Aaron Spelling, who was just a great producer and really a visionary, in my opinion. His son, I don't remember his name, but I saw on his website that he is a life coach, and he would definitely be, if I needed life advice, my life coach. A little shout out to him. Definitely check out his website. I can't remember who he is, though. I was watching the Mars Rover, and I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories about us not going to the moon. And my whole thought is, now that we've got this rover and it's on Mars, and I've been to in JPL in Pasadena, which is supposedly for John Parsons lives. John Parsons was one of the rocket men there who used to light off rockets with his buddies there in the wash, and then that became JPL, which is a part of NASA. And I went there for a tour one time, and there was some cool stuff, but you kind of go up these stairs, and then there's a little like leveled out area where there's the Mars Rover, and it looks exactly like the photos that I'm seeing now. which was just a bunch of dirt and rocks. But what I find interesting is that you've got now all these people that are showing like a doorway, or they're showing like a skeleton or something, whatever it is, these photos of Mars, and we're supposed to be fascinated by this. It's a rover. There's nothing else on Mars, supposedly. Why can't the rover move the 100 feet over to the secret, top secret door and show us what's inside the door, or go over to the skeleton and be like, hey, there's, Carl that used to work at Starbucks and his skeleton somehow got over here to Mars. That would be fascinating to me, instead of the, hey, congratulations, we're on Mars and we've got this rover and it's going around in circles. Because there's not really a lot to see on Mars, and I think that that's what a lot of people have been disappointed in. Been seeing that the LAPD is retiring in droves. They've always had a good pension system. I don't know about other states, but I do know that NYPD is you could actually retire at the age of 40. So you could go in, I don't know, at the age of 21, I guess, and you could do your 20 years and you can retire at 40 with your pension and I don't know the calculations of it, but that's pretty good, 20 years. So now you've got 42% of LAPD officers are leaving, with a 71% of them leaving before their pension, as crime, of course, spikes there and also in Los Angeles. And all these officers, everybody wants that job. I know they say that they don't, but the benefits themselves, like the medical benefits and the pension, and then you've got all these other goodies of time off, holiday, vacation, all that other stuff. People want that, trust me. So the fact that these people are movies away in droves. I know a lot of people have gone to other states to become police officers because, the consensus for a lot of people is, especially in New York, you see all the officers getting attacked, which is completely wrong. But it is this culture now where everybody's against the police. So who would want to be a police officer? But again, you have many people that want to be a police officer because it is the most money that a lot of these people are ever going to make in their entire life. And especially, think about LAPD. You've got Dodger Stadium right there, so that's overtime. You're easily making a couple hundred a night working overtime, and you're not even in the stadium. The security is in the stadium. The Dodger Stadium security is in there, and the outside is where the LAPD is patrolling. You've got that. You've also got, you've got the Lakers. We've got so many sporting events that the Los Angeles Police Department covers that you're making buku bucks if you're those men and women in blue. So definitely something to think about. Also in disappointment land, I went to Florida this weekend, and it was a great trip. I went. I'd never been to Florida, but I went to Fort Lauderdale, and what I immediately saw was that there's no homeless people there. There's maybe like one drunk guy. He said his name was Tim, and I talked to him a little bit. But he was just, enjoyed being out there in the sun, and it's a total party atmosphere. It reminded me, it's obviously on the beach, it's on the Atlantic Ocean side, and it reminded me it looked like Redondo Beach a little. And so it's definitely a party town. People are out there partying. It's, everybody's partying, and then it's water. So you're in and out of the water, you're drinking, you're boating. Everybody's a boater or working on a boat, has a boat, knows somebody that has a boat. There's homes on the boat. So that was the interesting part. That the politics of the infrastructure, because then you have Los Angeles, where I live. There's graffiti and trash and homeless people everywhere. You really do get a sense of, if the politicians wanted to, they could fix everything in about a day, because they certainly did in Fort Lauderdale. So hands off to Fort Lauderdale. I went down there, a little business, and I always look, is this a place that I want to live? And it was just, everything was great. It's cheaper, gas is cheaper, food is cheaper. I got my kid a sweatshirt, and what would normally cost $60 in Los Angeles was like $30 there. So those are the things that resonate with me, where you're thinking, oh my God, everything's so much cheaper here, when you're just buying, normal food, which would be 3 or 4 times more in Los Angeles. Obviously, gas, you could see a huge difference from the $6 to $7 that I see in LA, and it was about $3.40 there. And the Uber was even cheaper. I was like, I'm still scratching my head looking at this Uber ride that I took for $18. But so the company that paid for me to go, a great company, and so now I've got to have my brain come in there and talk about all the things that I complained about. And that's just who I am. I look on I don't always look on the bright side, but so we took a boat ride, and the idea of a boat ride sounds great, But I grew up on boats, and so I grew up on boats in a time when there was no internet, and so my parents were like sailing these boats like way out in the Pacific Ocean to these islands that are beyond Catalina Island, and there's nothing there. You're like, go out there and you take your little dinghy, and the darkness of the ocean and the silence, it kills you. And then you go on this little island. It was like San Nicolas Island, and there's nothing there. And it's like, oh, there's a seal, or oh, there's a seagull. And then you're on the land and you're like looking around. Is there a store here? Can I buy some candy? No, there's nothing here. There's nothing here at all. And that was my adventures with sailing on a first boat was 28 feet. The second boat was 32. The third one, which I got to name, I named it Fort Knox, which was nice of my parents, which was 33 feet. But my dad was more of like a competitive sailor. So it wasn't the fun sailing. Like, hey, let's have some drinks. Of course, I'm a kid. But it was, we've got to get there quickly, but the boat can't go over 7 knots. And usually it's going between 4 and 5. And so I already don't like boats. So we get on to this boat ride in Fort Lauderdale, and I'm thinking, oh, it's like Marina Del Rey boat rides where it's inside, it'll be air conditioned. I can at least, work on my anxiety. No, it's an outdoor boat. We get on this boat. There's like 500 other people on this boat, and it's outside. It's 95 degrees. I'm sweating, the humidity. That's why I would not move to Florida. Reminds me a lot of the weather in Houston. It's humid, it's hot. I don't do well in that kind of weather. And so the remedy for that isn't air conditioning. The remedy is like, just go to the bar and get a tropical drink. And so me and drinking tropical drinks and sweating, they're not a good combination because I just get frustrated. And when I get frustrated, because I'm an introvert, I just shut down. So it's not like a quick, in my head, I don't know because I've never been there, so I'm going in blind. It's not a quick little ride. It's an hour-long ride through these canals. And I guess that's what people do in Fort Lauderdale is it's island time, so they're slowly, going on these boats, and then the captain of the boat or whoever it is he's trying to do his shtick. He's trying to do his comedy, but it's Fort Lauderdale comedy. And so he's talking about, oh, there's where Anderson Cooper lived as a child. And oh, there's where Al Capone's house was. And you're thinking, really, Al Capone? Oh, this is Al Capone's 14th other home that he had in Florida to hide from the rum runners of 70 years ago. And so a lot of that shtick was outdated, and, I'm just complaining here. It was very nice. I've just had my share of boating. And so we get to this restaurant, and the restaurant's supposed to be on an island, but it's obviously on an island because there's homes around it. And if you've looked at a map of Fort Lauderdale, there's it's not really islands. And so I'm there, I'm sweating, I'm like, and it's, again, it's an outdoor restaurant that you're at, so there's no air conditioning. And then you're served, the servers are kind of coming around, and they're kind of just like scooping ribs at you. I wanted some chicken, but I couldn't quite get to the person. And again, it's like, oh, the answer to everything is just more alcohol. So somebody comes around, with more alcohol, and I guess that's the trick, is to just get you so inebriated so you don't even know where you're at. And so we're at this restaurant, we're taking this boat ride. What we were told was a quick little boat ride turned into 5 or 6 hours until finally I was like, I got to get out of here. And they're like, oh no, this is an island. And I'm like, no, it can't be, because I can order an Uber to get out of here. And so I ordered up the Uber, and against the advice of everyone not to leave, they didn't get home until 2 hours later because they had to get back on the boat to go back. I got back in 20 minutes because of Uber. So I'm indebted to Uber. I appreciate Uber, and I love Fort Lauderdale. There's nothing wrong with that. I found that boat ride was an experience. I just don't feel like I'm going to go on that boat ride ever again. I'm going to be talking about Adam West today. What I do like about researching the famous graves is actually, I always knew Adam West. He played the original Batman in the 60s TV series. And to look into the background of who he was as a person is always fascinating to me. So Adam West was born William West Anderson September 19th, 1928 in Walla Walla, Washington. His father was a farmer descending from Sweden, and his mother was an opera singer and a concert pianist who left her Hollywood dreams to care for her family. That was very noble. Following her example, West told his father as a young man that he intended to go to Hollywood after completing school, and he moved to Seattle with his mother when he was 15 following his parents' divorce. He attended Walla Walla High School during his freshman year and sophomore years and later enrolled in Lakeside School in Seattle. He attended Whitman College but studied at University of Puget Sound during the fall of 1949. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in literature and a minor in psychology from Whitman College in Walla Walla, where he was a member of the Gamma Delta chapter of Beta Theta Pi fraternity. He also participated on the speech and debate team. He was drafted into the United States Army. Thank you for your service there, Mr. West. He served as an announcer on the American Forces Network television. After his discharge, he worked as a milkman before moving to Hawaii to pursue his career in television. That is a pretty cool background. While in Hawaii, West was picked for a role as a sidekick on a local TV program, The Kini Popo Show, which also featured a chimp named Peaches. West later took over as host of the show. In 1959, West moved with his wife and 2 children to Hollywood, where he took the stage name Adam West. He appeared in the film The Young Philadelphians, which starred Paul Newman. He had guest roles in a number of TV shows and westerns on 3 Warner Brothers westerns, which aired on ABC: Sugarfoot, Colt 45, and The Lawman. Probably a lot of people now don't know that that was the bulk of TV shows in the 50s, which were westerns. You do not have that anymore. His alter ego of Batman in the television series Batman, in part after seeing West perform as the James Bond-like spy, Captain Q, in a Nestle's Quick commercial. So a producer sees Adam West. He's the struggling actor, and he's in a Nestle Quick commercial, and that's the guy. That's the guy he wants. Adam West was in competition with Lyle Waggoner for the Batman role, and Lyle was Steve Trevor in Wonder Woman. That's a pretty cool connection. The popular campy show Batman ran on ABC from 1966 to 1968, and it's running in. He also had a full-length film version that was in 1966, and I don't think I've seen that one, but of course it's running in reruns for ever since, which is probably making Adam West some good residuals. In 1966, Adam West released a song called Miranda as his Batman character. So there's Batman singing a song. Also in character, West appeared in a public service announcement in which he encouraged school children to listen to President Johnson's call for them to buy U.S. savings stamps, a child's version of U.S. savings bonds to support the Vietnam War. I wonder if anybody has any of those U.S. savings stamps. I had some not war bonds. When I got married, some people gave me some bonds, and they actually had a rate of return of 25%. So for that $100, I got $125. So thank you, Auntie M. Adam West, after his high-profile role, along with Burt Ward and Yvonne Craig, who played the sidekick Batgirl, they all felt like they were typecast, which they were, because now everybody transitions to TV and film and everything, but back in the day, if you were on a TV show and that TV show stuck, you got typecast for the rest of your life, and it sucked for a lot of actors. I definitely sympathize with all 3 of them, feeling that they couldn't get another job. And if you think about it, I mean, all 3 of those people are playing the same character for the rest of their life, and they're kind of stuck in this purgatory. West split his time between his residences in Palm Springs and Ketchum, Idaho. He returned as Batman and Bruce Wayne in a short-lived animated series, The New Adventures of Batman, and in other shows such as Batman and Tarzan Adventure Hour, Tarzan and the Super 7, Super Friends, the legendary Superpowers show, and the Superpowers team. I loved Super Friends. That was one of the best Saturday morning cartoons to me. And I loved, I loved Green Lantern. But what I always loved about Adam West was that this guy never gave up. He got typecast. He could have easily became the biggest a-hole in the world, and he didn't. He embraced that character. That ultimately got him a walk on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars, dedicated to him. He also got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's located at 6764 Hollywood Boulevard in front of the Guinness Museum. That right there will tell you that this guy was good at his craft, and he also appeared in a number of videos for Funny or Die. He was interviewed in 2013 on the PBS series called Pioneers of Television. He was definitely a pioneer. He's definitely a superhero. Will always be a superhero in my mind. And he was also honored in Walla Walla. There's in his hometown of Walla Walla, Washington. There's the Adam West officially celebrates its annual Adam West Day every September 19th, starting from 2017. So he's out there grinding. He was always doing voiceovers. He was always doing stuff like a Comic-Con, stuff like that. Some of his voiceovers were Meet the Robinsons. He was a Mermaid Man along with Burt Ward, who voiced young Barnacle Boy in the cartoon show SpongeBob SquarePants, which SpongeBob ran for, still running, I think, for over 20 years. A great show. He voiced himself also in Lego Batman 3. He, in 2016, was the voice of Batman for Batman 66 Pinball Machine, which you are a legend, man, if you get a pinball machine named after you. In his personal life, West was married 3 times. His first marriage was to his college sweetheart in 1950. The couple divorced 6 years later. In 1957, he married a dancer in Hawaii. They had 2 children before they divorced in 1962. He then married again in 1970, and they had 2 more children, and he remained together for the next 46 years with his 3rd wife. He, during the Batman television series, West's relationships with co-star Burt Ward was jokingly described as problematic. He said Burt fell victim to making up stories to sell books, but in a way it was flattering because he made me sound like King Kong. West also said that he played Batman for laughs, but in order to do that, one had to never think it was funny. So that's pretty cool. He knew, hey, this is kind of a joke, or people kind of think this is a joke, but I'm going to play this as serious as I can, and I'm going to be this character, and to me that's the mark of a great actor. Also, during the Batman series, he became close friends with crossover co-star Van Williams, who played the Green Hornet. So the Green Hornet was a show, didn't last very long, but it was with Bruce Lee. I think it was only on 1 series, but it was this huge it was going to rival Batman. It was going to crush Batman. So there was a little bit of this competition going on in advertising at that time. The 2 of them were also neighbors for a while and spent much of their time together outdoors fishing and hunting. On June 9th, 2017, Adam West passed away from leukemia in Los Angeles at the age of 88. 88 is not a bad age. I wish he could have lived a lot longer. In a statement, his former co-star Burt Ward said, "This is terribly unexpected loss of my longtime friend. I will forever miss him. There are several fine actors who have portrayed Batman in films. In my eyes, there was only one of them, the real Batman, that is and always will be Adam West. He is truly the bright knight." Very well said, Burt Ward. On June 15th, 2017, Los Angeles projected the bat signal on City Hall as a tribute to West, and in his hometown of Walla Walla, again, the bat signal was shown up to the landmark of Whitman Tower. West had pre-recorded 5 more Family Guy episodes as Mayor Adam West, which was released after his passing. He also recorded the 11th episode of Powerless, which was never aired due to the show's cancellation. NBC aired the episode along after his death. His last performance was March to April 2017 at Comic-Con in Massachusetts, where he was the guest of honor. Just sounds like an awesome guy. And he is somebody that is very well missed. He does not have a grave. I've posted. He was cremated. LA would do some sort of monument for Adam West. That would be pretty cool, and for Batman. And I think that Los Angeles should be doing a lot more plaques for the icons of Los Angeles and the movie industry and Hollywood. Like, subscribe, tell me who else you want me to see, and I appreciate everybody listening to Famous Graves.